different operations based off of that. So let's say we have a grocery store and it offers discounts based off of the number of purchases. So let's say somebody went in and wanted to purchase 4 oranges. Of course, put the equal sign inside of there. And then another thing the store sells is bananas. And let's say somebody wanted to buy 36 bananas. Now the store owner wants to come in here and see if the user goes and buys more than 25 oranges and also more than 30 bananas, they're going to give them a 25% discount. How are we going to do that? We're going to come in here and we're going to say if, and we'll put multiple brackets around that, num of oranges is greater than 25. But how do we check for and? Multiple different situations, multiple different comparisons. Well, we just put the and symbols inside of there, right like that, and that's going to allow us to check if both things are true. And these are called logical operators, these guys right here, and I'm going to show you the other 2 logical operators in a second. And we'll go num of bananas greater than 30. So if they want to buy more than 25 oranges and more than 30 bananas, we're going to give them a discount. And in this situation, we're just going to echo out on the screen 25% discount. Right like that. Let's say they want to offer other discounts, however, in situations in which they don't buy enough. In those situations, we're going to type in else if. And let's save ourselves a little bit of time. Let's just copy this, paste that in there. And let's say we're going to give them a 15% discount if they buy more than 30 bananas. Or, this is how we're going to be able to check and get a true response if either of these are true. So if they buy more than 30 bananas or they buy more than 35 bananas, we're going to do a couple other nice discount things for them. And in this situation, again, we'll go 15% discount. And let's go in here and do one more so I can show you the final logical operator that's available, and that is not. So what happens if we want to check if something is not true? Well, you just put the exclamation point in there like that. And then I'm going to check num of oranges less than 5. So if they're buying at least 5 oranges or they're buying at least 5 bananas, we're going to give them a discount. And in this situation, that discount is going to be a 5% discount. And then we can use our else statement again here to handle any default situations. And we'll just go like this. And we'll just say no discount for you. And you can see right here, 15% discount, and the reason why is the bananas, I ordered 4 oranges, which in this situation doesn't fit this condition. However, I ordered 36 bananas, which does fit this condition, and that is the reason why 15% printed out. Then inside of PHP, we have another thing. We get in a situation where we want to assign a value to a variable based off of a condition is true or false, and it is called the ternary operator. And basically, the way it works is you have your condition followed by a question mark, and then you're going to have the value that's going to be assigned if true, or value if false is going to be assigned. And the basic way that this is going to look is, let's come in here and let's say we have biggest number we're going to store inside of here and equal to. Then we're going to have our condition, so we're going to have 15 greater than 10. Of course, these could be variables and not just straight numbers. And then we're going to say that we want to store 15 inside of biggest number if it's the biggest, or 10 if it is the biggest. And then of course we could go echo biggest number. And there you can see 15 showed up. Another way we could do conditions inside of PHP is using a switch statement. And you're going to use a switch statement whenever you have a very limited number of possible values. So let's say we want to make different decisions or print different things based off of the username that gets passed in our HTML. Well, you're going to type in the variable that you're going to be checking for, user's name in this situation, and then you're going to type in case the user's name has the value of Derek, and you can use doubles or strings or anything inside of here. Well, in that situation, we're going to type out hello Derek. And then we could do the same by creating a couple more case statements, or let's just create one more, that'll solve it. Let's say it is Sally, and you're also going to want to come in here and type in break, which is going to throw you out of the switch statement and continue executing code afterwards, but it's not going to come down and check if it's Sally and waste time. And then of course type in hello Sally. And then we want to come in here and also type in a default answer or code that we want to have execute in that situation. And we're going to type in echo, and we'll say something like hello valued customer, and then type in break. And there we go. And we know that I entered Derek previously, and now you can see hello Derek shows up. So that's a switch statement. Now very often you're going to want to perform actions until a certain condition is met, and a while loop works great for that. But one thing we have to do is first come in here and define some way for us to get out of the while loop. And what we're going to do is we're going to continue incrementing the value for number until it is greater than 20. And of course, this is going to have to be created or initialized or whatever you want to refer to it as outside of the while loop. Then you're going to type in num, and we're going to continue executing code inside of this loop, which is defined by these curly brackets right here. And then inside of it, we're going to type in, let's go and auto increment that by 1 each time. And you're going to have to always do that inside of a while loop as well. And then let's go and put commas inside of here, and we're going to print out these inside of the browser. And there you can see it was an easy way to be able to print 1 through 20. Another thing you can do is go and use a for loop, which is going to pretty much perform exactly the same actions that you saw with the while loop, but it's going to do it in a somewhat more compact way. So let's just leave the while loop there, and I'm going to show you how to do exactly the same thing with our for loop, and we're going to use for loops again later on in the tutorial in an example. So we're going to define number is equal to 1 in this situation, and I use 0 up here only because I used this increment right there, and that's the reason why it's going to switch to 1, and then it's going to print. Remember, that's the way that works. And then I'm going to come in here and define the condition. I'm going to keep doing this as long as number is less than or equal to 20. And then I'm going to define how the variable is going to be incremented each time through our loop. And I could just go echo and num, and then I could print a comma out inside of there. But one thing that sort of bothers me is after this 20 right here, I have a comma. It's also going to give me an excuse to go and talk about something else. So let's say I wanted to come in here and say if is not equal to 20. Well, in that situation, I'm going to print out my comma. However, if it is equal to 20, I could come in here and end this in a couple different ways. One way to stop looping is to use that break statement just like before. What that's going to do is jump us out of our for loop immediately. If I wanted to be really crazy, I could come in here and type exit. What exit's going to do is stop executing my PHP script altogether. I don't want to do that. I just want to stop executing the for loop in that situation. And you can see here, if I jump over, execute, it's going to print 1 through 20 again. But in this situation, it got rid of the comma at the end of the 20. Another thing that's very useful, I talked about them for a brief second before, and that is arrays. And make sure you don't have any of these little trailing little gibblies here, because that'll cause all kinds of errors. Make sure you have everything cleaned up. Now an array, like I said before, is going to allow you to store multiple different types of values. So let's say I want to come in here and type in my best friends and store them all in one place. Well, an array is just a box of boxes, and I'm going to put Joy inside of here, and I'm going to put Willow inside of here, and I'm going to put Ivy inside of here. There you go. That is an array. Boxes inside of boxes. Now, each of these boxes is going to have a label. The very first one is going to be 0, and then 1, and then 2, and that's the way it is. However, in PHP, you can change that. If I want to echo out onto the screen some information that is inside of an array, I just type in the array name, and then put a box, and then the label for the box, close that off. And there you can see it printed out on the screen just like that. You can also come in here and add items to our array quite easily. Just go best friends and let's just give it an index that doesn't exist, right like this. Then let's say I got a new friend named Steve. There you go. And he's in the array now with all my other friends. Let's do it in a more interesting way, however. And that more interesting way is a for each statement, which is going to allow me to cycle through all of the different items inside of my array. And all I need to do is give it the array I want to cycle through. And then, don't put that little comma inside of there. Instead, you're going to put as. And then I got to give it a temporary holding field or temporary variable, which each of these items is going to be stored in temporarily. And then I could do something like echo and friend, and there you can see it printed them all out on the screen all in one place. So that for each block is just for arrays. Another thing you can do is create key-valued pairs for the arrays, which is very much like all of the other arrays, or this one array we created here, except in this situation, this has the key of 0, or the index of 0, this has 1, this has 2, and this has 4. If I wanted to define what the keys are going to be, I could do something like customer is equal to, and I'm going to create an array again. Then I'm going to give it the specific key I want this data to have, equal sign with that bracket right there. And let's say I want to have the user's name be stored inside of there. Put a comma. I could then go street. That's the key. And you could store basically any type of data inside of here. It doesn't have to be using variables in this situation like I have. I could type in city, and you're going to be able to access this data using the keys just like you used the indexes before. And then close that off, and there's the whole thing right there. And in this situation, I could still use a for each block as well, and I'm going to show you how to use that. We're going to type in customer, which is the array I want to work with, and then key and value. Key valued pairs. Was that there? and then I could go echo key, concatenate this, and put in a colon, and then I could type in also my value, and execute that over here. And it's going to print out my name, my street, and the city. Another thing you're going to be able to do is combine arrays. This is so easy to do. Let's just say we want to store this information in best friends, whether this makes sense or not. So if I want to take the customer data and put it in best friends, like let's say I decided that 123 Main Street was a best friend, whatever. Let's just go best friends and just put a plus sign and customer. And now they are joined. They are all one array, but they have different keys. You can also do comparisons between arrays to find out if they are equal. In that situation, just use the equal sign. Not equal, there you go, it's the same thing. If you want to check if they have the same values, same order, and same data type, however, you're going to have to put 3 equal signs. So there's a way to compare arrays. Another thing we can do is come in here and create a multi-dimensional array. Just get rid of all of this. So let's say we wanted to go and create a customers array is equal to, and again, you're going to type in array, right, like we did before, and then you just put an array inside of an array. That's what a multi-dimensional array is. And then we could have like customers' names, for example, and 123 main, and we could put in zip code or something, 15212 or something. And then we want to create more of these guys. Let's go in here and just copy this, save some time. And let's say that we wanted to have Sally be in here, 125 main, and then make sure you close that off with the proper brackets. We could then cycle through these using a for loop. So we'll just go for, and we'll say that we want to get our row is equal to, and row is just a name, just like any other. You can put anything inside of there. I'm just typing in row because it makes sense. So as long as row is less than 3, remember we start at 0, 1, 2. And then we're going to auto increment row with our for loop. Then we're going to put another for loop inside of here, so we'll be able to cycle through our columns. Columns going to start off with 0, while columns is less than 3. We're going to continue cycling through here, and here we'll increment it. And then we'll close off our for loop, right like this. And then we can go echo and customers, which is the name of our array. And if we want to print out the row data, do that, and the column. And then let's say we want to put a comma in here between all this different data we have. And then we want to come in here and throw in a break statement. You'll see here in a second what it's going to print out on the screen. And there you can see it printed everything out there on our screen. So that's multi-dimensional arrays. Now there's a couple other very common array functions. Let's say you wanted to sort your array. Well, you would just type in, this is a function which we're going to get into later on. What you do is just type in sort, and inside of the brackets put your array name, and this is going to sort in ascending alphabetical order. If you would come in here and put another comma in right there and type in sort numeric, it'll sort in numerical order. Or if you type in sort string, it's going to sort everything as if it is a string of characters. A sort is going to sort the arrays with the keys. It's going to keep the keys together. K sort is going to sort by the key names.